Hey folks, welcome back to another Poem Masters video, and as usual, again, we will be going over some of these units, as we always do at the end of the month, as I hit my mic with my hand, unfortunately. I'm right though, don't worry. So, yeah, we're gonna do hybrids in this video, right? Again, for those who don't know, hybrids are just units who do different things, right? That could both do damage and could do some, utility supportish kind of things, right? So, great example is Venusaur over there, right? Could hit pretty hard, can do some nice things utility wise, right? So, anyways, let's get into this, I guess, right? And yeah, the criteria is just the same as ever for the most part. And again, shout outs to the folks who worked on this, right? Runner, Ropel, Joe, right? And folks. So get mad at them instead of me. I'm kidding. Anyways, let's do this. So this month we've got like a lot of really nice ones. I'd say really nice hybrid units. I don't think any of the ones that we got this month are like that bad, right? But anyways, let's start from just giving each tier one unit, I guess. So starting from the first tier, we're gonna put Swampert in there. Why did I not use Mega Swampert? Why do I have both of them here? I don't know why. I think one is enough. Let's throw that somewhere else. Anyways, but yeah, Mega Swampert, fantastic tank, really good for speed, right? With rain. And you have Rain, the only MP refreshable Rain in the game, right? Rain Dance, MP refresh. And special defense debuffs or special or not accuracy debuffs on top of hitting incredibly hard, right? Incredibly powerful Sync Nuke, one of the the top damage dealers in the game, on top of being one of the best utility units in the game, right? So Swampert's pretty obvious. That's a pretty obvious one. Moving on, next year we could put something like Akiram in there, right? Has some, I guess, utility stuff, right? With freeze, the offensive debuffs, speed debuffs, I guess, but it also does some solid damage with Glaciate as well. Could do some decent damage on the sync move as well, so fits that really well. Moving on, we got Crobat, good sync nuke, some solid damage on Venoshock, I guess, for a 2-gauge move. On top of doing some really nice utility stuff like special defense debuffs, poison, or badly poison in this case. So yeah, that's that. Moving on, we got, let's see, in the good tier, maybe I guess like a Gengar. Could do okay-ish damage and can spam sleep. Although obviously there are much better sleepers, but sleep is still really nice, right? Although I'd say the damage isn't anything crazy, but it's existent at least, I guess. No multipliers, bad BP, but very high special attack, I guess. Moving on, in the next year, put something like Pikachu. Right, could do some okay damage on Thundershock. Obviously, you got the potion stuff, right? Good for your team speed, generally, I'd say. And then also hostile environment, Thundershock paralysis, you could do that. Really nice things. And then the last here, we put something like, I guess, Aegislash. It could be a tank, it could do damage. It's terrible at both. So there it is. All right. So yeah, let's fill up the last tier up first, I guess. Seismitoad could do some damage, and on top of that, it slows the opponent a lot, has a lot of slowing moves. A bit too many for my taste. So, and then Floatzel again could do some damage, could flinch, but yeah, overall not anything too crazy anymore, right? Moving on, up one tier, let's say like a Torkoal. Could do some okayish chip damage, although again, there's much better chip damage dealers in this game right now. Could do some solid damage on the Sync Nuke, right? And can tank physically, can burn your opponent. So still some uses, I guess. It's just that, there's just so many units that do what he does, but like much better nowadays, like Leon. Right. Moving on, we got Silvally. Silvally probably here as well, right? It's it's a very useful Pokemon, right? Especially, for, I guess, newer, accounts, very, very useful Pokemon. The defense debuffs are nice as well, right? It could take a few hits here and there if you build it like that. It's just damage is pretty terrible, unfortunately. Moving on. Reuniclus. You can tank. It's honestly a pretty terrible tank in my opinion, but you can. And you could also do some good damage with it. What's next? Mimikyu. Mimikyu can do good damage. However, it is very, very, very limited offensively, mainly limited by how reliant it is on the very, very small amount of MP refreshes it has on Shadow Sneak, basically, right? Outside of that, it does have, again, defense debuffs, has confusion, although it is very convoluted, right, in terms of the whole setup for your, like, debuffs and stuff, which kind of sucks. Moving on, let's see. Mega Altaria, I guess. It has defog, only unit in the game to do that, right? I mean, so if you want to clear any crit shields, that's your Pokemon, right? Which is nice. But outside of that, again, it can do damage. The damage is not very great, unfortunately, despite like the incredible stats. I mean, it's not bad either. It's just very average, I guess. Right? The multipliers are really bad, even though the big number of multipliers. However, the multipliers themselves are very, very, very bad for the most part. I got AoE flinch. You could take a decent amount of hits, I'd say, right? So a lot of things going on for Altaria over there. Octillery has a good sync nuke. Could do some solid damage on Scald. Could do some solid damage on Octazooka, even, honestly. And the accuracy debuffs, the burn, right, would have worked very well for with May, if not for the, 30 other really, 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 really powerful rain utilizing units in the game, right? So yeah. Next we got, I guess, Salazzle, whatever it's called. The Plumeria obviously got an EX, got an AoE sync move with that. Not that, in my opinion, it improves it that much, because I'm not very high on Striker AoE EX sync moves, especially with units who have, like, AoE moves anyways, right? But yeah, it's still nice. Solid damage to the sync nuke. You got the poison flinch going for it. Very, very, very fast secondary striker if you want to run that. So it's cool. Moving on. Let's see. Next year, I'll probably put in Milotic. Really, really solid tank. Very, very good sync nuke. Solid damage on Brine. Got trap, right? All that stuff. A lot of things going for it. Again, slight sadness is way too much competition for Rain Team slots, unfortunately. So there's that. Where its role is usually more, I guess, diminished into being on more so defensive stall teams, right? Rather than a more offensive based Brine sync nuke Rain team, right? Moving on, we got Togekiss. Again, very, very powerful sync nuke. The setup is really, really bad, I'd say, right? With, having to flinch, having to status off of like try attack, right? Again, the setup is pretty terrible, but the damage numbers are undeniably very, very, very good, right? Also, decent stats all around, right? Next, we got the new BP Salamence. This is Zinnia Salamence, not Drake Salamence, because why would Drake Salamence be in here? The thing is so supporty. Yeah, but Zinnia Salamence does some solid damage. What I don't like about it is the setup is not the best, I'd say, right? But once you do, if you can get it in, the damage is, again, undeniably pretty good. Moving on, Ho-Oh, fantastic, and God, I'd say maybe even more amazing, with now Groudon being a thing, right? Very, 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 very nice duo over there that you could run. But yeah, and Ho is just very, very amazing on its own anyways, right? Then we got, I don't know, Lopunny, maybe. The AoE team speed buffs are very, very, very good. Defensive buffs are nice, I guess, to have. The potions are cool, on top of dealing insane amounts of damage, right? With Groudon in the game now, running like Groudon Lopunny could get you like red levels of damage, right? Which is pretty amazing for a non terrain or weather unit, right? Which is really nice, I'd say. Moving on, got a Lysander, right? Lysander, it could heal itself by a decent amount. It has the flinches it could use on top of doing damage, even though the doing damage part, not very good, but it could do it, I guess, right? Let's see, Hydreigon, has a big sync nuke, I guess, has the other, Hydreigon thing it does, the offensive debuffs, right? Albeit, slightly slow on the offensive debuffs, but it has that. The move gauge acceleration is very, very, very nice. Like that a lot, right? I can do some damage on the Dragon Rush once you set it up after forever. But yeah, it's a heavy setup Pokemon, but the results are very nice once you do get it set up. Let's see what else. Hi, Steven. Has Hail. Infinite Hail. The best Hail setter in the game, basically, at the moment. Although, I'd say not the best to run with Crabominable, which might be the best Ice type damage heal at the moment. But, yeah, I mean, what are your other options? Abomasnow and Lapras. But on top of that, again, obviously does some solid damage as well. Although, in my opinion, the damage is not like... Well, it's not in my opinion, the numbers are numbers, but the damage is not like anything great. But it could definitely do it, right? And you could easily run a secondary striker with it as well, so that's always nice to see. And have at your disposal to increase its overall damage, since its overall damage is very, very low, right? Moving on, we got Metagross. It's basically like Yveltal, but in my opinion, like better, right? Just because of its offensive consistency. But yeah, big sync nuke. Heals, tank, physically at least, right? And can flinch, and very bad damage, right? So, we got Mew, the best psychic type sync nuke in the game right now, I'm pretty sure, right? Yeah. Which is in of itself something, because the big thing that psychic teams do kind of lack is like a really, really great sync nuker. Even though you have like some solid ones that you could do, but you kind of want a more dedicated sync nuker, and obviously Mew fits that role. It's in the most optimal psychic team at the moment, right? Fantastic psychic type damage. I don't know why people keep on comparing like Mew and Mewtwo as psychic type damage. They're not even close. Like Mew is like miles better at this point. That's so weird for people to do. Anyways, last one, the new Incineroar and Master Royale. So this one, it's kind of like Iris, but like a bit better, because the debuffs that it has is obviously a bit more useful at the moment. Although the nuke isn't as strong as Iris, but it is slightly, easier and much more convenient setup. It is also much better running in like a mixed, I guess, or well, not mixed. You don't want to run mixed with Incineroar, but in like a secondary, like physical damage dealer sort of team comp, right? Because again, you're getting the extra physical defense debuffs on the opponent, which increases your overall team's damage output, which is very, very, very nice. And also buffs your whole team's speed, which is fantastic as well, right? So Incineroar's pretty nice, right? Unfortunately, the damage is pretty bad, but the nuke definitely makes up for it, right? So we got the top dogs over here, I guess. I'll just put them all up there and we'll talk about them one by one, I guess. So Whimsicott, the speed boss, fantastic. You got the paralysis, which is nice. Speed debuffs, obviously, on top of having an amazing sync nuke. One of the best sync nukes in the game, in my opinion, just because of how easy and just effortlessly it is to set up. The Whimsicott sync nuke and just how much damage it does. Like, it's one of like like Whimsicott, Marnie, just one of the best, fastest, like first sync setup, like sync nukers in the game, and could do some really, really good and respectable damage off of Moonblast as well, right? So there's that. Next, you got Venusaur. Venusaur is very, very support heavy. You do need to build a very, very heavy, support team around it, but once you do, the damage is very, very good, on top of not running it as a damage dealer, also very nice as well, although not very great at the moment in comparison to like a lot of the other supports or utility, I guess, units. So that's why we have it in the hybrid, list instead of like the utility ones, right? Because it shines more as a hybrid because of the great damage it also outputs. Then you got Musharna. Yeah, Musharna is just busted. I don't know, it just does everything, right? Insane damage, fantastic tank, right? Helps your team speed. It does it's like May but psychic terrain basically, right? And obviously sets up psychic terrain, which is a very big part of its kit. Then you got Delphox, still probably the most broken unit in the game just because of the mechanics, right? AoE sleep in of itself could easily be a top 1 sync pair in the game on many people's lists. On top of that, also does very good damage and great sync nuke as well, and could debuff special defense, which people forget it could actually do. Also, trap stuff, right? So, yeah, just really amazing unit. And then you got Groudon Kyogre, which are, if you don't count the Delphox thing, probably the best and second best units in the game. These two are just absolutely broken. They top the charts on like all these offensive damage, numbers, right? On top of just being an absolute monster support for not only rain teams, like just look at how many teams they support, right? They support sun teams, they support rain teams, they support Hoenn teams, they support special attacking teams, physical attacking teams. They just give you so much team support. It's kind of crazy. These are like incredibly busted units. On top of, again, having the 2 amazing type coverage moves as well. So yeah, these are obviously going to be the top of the top over here as well. But yeah, a lot of really great hybrid units that we got this month, right? So yeah, anyways, that's gonna be this one, I guess. Hope y'all enjoy. Let me guys think in the comments down below. Like, videos for my channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. I'll see you guys in the next one.